Hello again, everyone. It's good to see you back. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, so I may sound a little nasally, a little more nasally than normal. I am kind of nasally most of the time. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's time for another one of these fantastic videos. I know you love them. I love making them. I know you love watching them. Let's get to it, shall we? All right. So this week has been a busy one. We've got a bunch of parts in for the Defender. They actually showed up today. Our supplier over in England is really quick about getting stuff here. Actually, our supplier in England is faster with getting parts to us from England than the suppliers that we sometimes use here in the United States that sell Land Rover parts. So they got the stuff to us really, really quick. We got everything here. We checked it all out. We made sure it was all good stuff. You got our new radiator hoses, heater hoses, all of our filters and stuff like that. And then down here on the floor, we've got our brakes, all of our brake components in that box right there, the brick part box. That's the new fuel pump, and then the new fuel tank cradle. So you're thinking, well, you're going to jump on this one real quick now, right? Because you got all the stuff to do it. Actually, we can't. We don't actually have the time this next coming week. December's a short month, and we really want to keep cracking on with some of the other projects before we start wrenching on this one. That's okay. I'm sure the owner is happy about that because I'm sure he doesn't want to get a huge bill right before Christmas. So nobody does. Nobody does. Sadly, that's how business works. We have to. Somebody's got to. Yeah. That's how it happens. Okay. It just happens that way. Anyway, we're gonna bounce onto that one probably the beginning of January. We'll get in on that one and really get cracking on it. Until then, Christian will continue to be working on the Triumph TR3 project here. He, as you can tell, it's been turned the other way now. He's on the what is that, driver's side? I don't know. It's one of the sides. He's on the other side from where he was last week, and he's welding. As you can see right here, the welder's out. He left the welder. What a slob! He leaves the welder out? Are you kidding me? I do it all the time too. Welder's out. He's been grinding real hard. He's kind of making sure everything underneath looks top-notch. I don't judge restorations based on the shiny outsides. Anybody can make them shiny on the outside. You make them look good underneath, that's impressive. Okay, that's impressive. Anyway, he's continuing to crack on with that one. When he's squared away underneath and everything's good there's a few things in the engine bay that we're going to take care of. That are kind of dents and ripples and stuff like that in the engine bay. Once that's done, then the owner and us will go through and we'll pick out a color. We're pretty sure there's a family of colors that he's going for, but we gotta get specific with it. What exact color does the owner want? So once that's picked out, we'll do some spray test panels. We usually pick out about 3 or 4 colors that are within the want of the owner. And we'll do spray test out panels for them so that they can see it a little bit better, as the color samples are on little tiny, 2-inch squares. So we'll do spray out cards for them so we can see what it looks like and then make the final call. So once that color's picked out, it's a final prime on the underside, a final prime in the engine bay, in the interior, and in the trunk area, and then we're going to start seeing some color on this old girl. Once the color's on it, it goes on the chassis, and we start doing the gapping and the blocking and all of that fun stuff to really finalize the process. She's coming along. This week, I had the pleasure of doing a little bit of work on the Healey here. Didn't get to turn any wrenches on the physical body. I did pull out some parts that we do need to start the restoration process on for the car. There's not a lot left to put on that car, surprisingly enough. I went through all of the owner's parts that we have on the shelves here, kind of cataloged, rebagged anything that wasn't quite, the bags had kind of fallen apart or something like that, reboxed, re-inventoried basically, just to see what's there, what needs to get ordered, and what needs to get, maybe replaced in its entirety, and what needs to be fixed, what needs to be restored still. I pulled out the carburetors for the car. Christian's going to do a video. I know I've said that before. Christian's going to do a video. He's going to do a whole tear down and rebuild video on the carburetors for this car. And I'm going to hold him to it this time. I'm going to put his feet to the fire on that. He better knock that video out and get it posted up on this channel for all you lovely people to watch. Anyway, like I said, didn't get to turn any wrenches on it, but we've pulled some parts out that we can start the process on. We've taken inventory. We have an idea of what we need to order and what we have. So that's an important part too. You got to do that stuff too. It's not all the fame and the glory of running wiring harnesses and stuff, because I guess that's glorious work. I don't know. But we're getting on it. So this week I did a lot more work on the Jaguar. It's a lot of little stuff. That's where we're at with this. It's a lot of little things, but it's coming along. You can see that she's got a top boot on her now. This is a cover that goes over the convertible top to protect the convertible top. It's a fun thing. It makes it look a little cleaner, a little nicer. We've installed that. That's all done. Looks good. Looks nice. We've got the rear lights are in. Those are done. We've got a few things up front here in the center console area that need to be taken care of still. We've got some switch bezels with the cruise control and the cigarette lighter. They're not quite clicking in. The wood in here has been redone, and it looks great. However, it's a little bit too thick for the original bezels to clip in, so we got to do a little bit of fine-tuning on those to make that work. We'll get those squared away here soon. We're having a little bit of electrical troubles. Surprise, surprise. This is a British car. We're having electrical troubles. We're having some electrical troubles, which we're getting sorted, with not only some dash lighting issues, which I'll explain when I actually get a chance to get on those and fix them. Basically, there's an issue with the rheostat and lights being on that shouldn't be on. Yeah, it's complicated. The big thing that I found this week was, first off, the car had no hazards or turn signals. I went through, I took the hazard switch out. That's usually the culprit. Blew the hazard switch apart, found it pretty heavily corroded inside. Did some good cleanup. Actually used a soda blaster to clean all the contacts on the inside of the switch. Put it all back together. Dielectric greased everything. She's back in the car, and she has blinkers and hazards again, which is wonderful. The other thing that we're running into is there's 6 gauges total on the dashboard. 6 gauges, 6 things that are telling you the telemetry of your vehicle. In this case, there are 3 on this car that are not functioning. That's 50%, guys. All right, that's not a passing grade. Okay, that's not good. So the 3 gauges that are giving us trouble right now are the fuel gauge. So you better know how much gas is in this thing because it's not telling you. The oil pressure gauge. Listen for the knocks, because that's the only way you're going to find out if you got lost oil pressure. And the temperature gauge, just run with the heater on. It's cold enough out. It's fine, right? No, we can't do that. So, actually came to find out that all 3, and this just boggles my mind sometimes, all 3 of the sending units that are basically, they're the things giving the telemetry from the specific areas to the gauge. Those sending units, all 3 of them are bad. The fuel sending unit back here in the trunk, bad. The oil pressure sending unit up there in the valley of the V12, bad. The gauge sending unit for the temperature gauge over there on the passenger side of the engine, bad. All the wires are good. All of that's been tested. I've tested everything else in those systems. It's the sending units that are bad. It just happens to be a fluke that all 3 of them are bad. So we're going to get those on the way, get those ordered up, along with probably getting some tires on the way for her. So she's not going full back burner, but we're going to wait on some parts. So we're going to put her to a simmer, okay? She's on the stove still. She's just going on the simmer. We're turning the heat down just a little bit, and we're going to wait for some parts to get in. Once those parts get in, they'll get changed out. We'll do a full vacuum and a cleanup on the car. We'll take it down to the local tire shop that we like to use. We'll have them put tires onto it, and then we'll have all kinds of fun stuff here. Hold on one second. We'll have tires and stuff like that done, and then we'll have a safety inspection, and we'll get it back to the owner. So, the other thing that we're planning to do this month is a little bit more work on this girl. So while I'm waiting on parts for El Jaguaro over there, I'm going to bounce back onto the Lagonda here soon. I have some of the wood to do some of the firewall stuff. So let's get in on it, okay? Let's get in on it here real quick. As you can see here, it has some gaps, okay? If I get down in there, that's a gap. That's a sizable gap there. What that gap does is it lets heat from in here in the engine bay into the cockpit area back here. And predominantly down on your footsies, all right? Nobody likes a hot footsies. Now, we've got some sound deadening, we've got some heat barrier going in there, but we need to close these air gaps up. The factory did have pieces of wood that finished this out and closed it up, and it also allowed the hood to sit on them. So, I've got to remake those for our new firewall because the old ones are A, rotten, and B, don't quite fit the car anymore. So, we're going to make fresh ones. We're going to use ash timber to do that. And we're probably going to come in behind on the back side of the firewall, and you can see the light through you can see the light right there through the firewall right there. And we'll probably put some plywood, some birch plywood fillers in there as well. So it'll be covered on both sides. We'll be taking care of it on both sides. Won't that be fantastic? So I've got I started making templates. I think last week I started making templates for this. To do that, I've got the wood now. We're going to start cutting it out. I've got to get my woodworking hat on. And I don't know if that's is that like a cowboy hat? Or is that, I don't know what kind of hat woodworkers wear. But I got to get it on and start doing my woodworking. Don't do a lot of that here very often. Know how to, don't have a problem doing it, just don't really get a chance to do it very often anymore. Anyway, that is all I have for today. That's it. That's all I got for today. It's been a lovely week, and I still feel sick, so I'm going to go home, get in some jammies, and go to bed. So hopefully I'll feel better next week. I will see you guys next week, for sure. I'll see you. I'll make a video. Don't worry. I know there's holidays coming up, but I'm going to make a video next week still. So, I hope you have a lovely weekend. I hope you have a lovely next week. I'll see you then. Okay? Bye.